Joining us today are the directors and the producers of two films. One is a Marathi film, Raavsaaheb, and the other one is Hindi film, Srikanth. Before starting this, I'd like to inform you that this press conference is being live streamed, allowing film enthusiasts and media professionals who are unable to attend in person to follow along remotely. So today we have with us the National Award-winning director Nikhil Mahajan for his film Raavsaaheb, and then we have the director Tushar and producer Nidhi ma'am for the film Srikanth. Raavsaaheb is being showcased in the Indian Panorama feature film section and is also competing in the international competition at IFFI. That's a very relevant subject on which the film is being made. So I just come to the synopsis of the film. In the heart of the forest, a battle rages between greed and perseveration, capitalism and conservation, and brave officers face off against a ruthless mafia as the jungle's very soul hangs in the balance. So Raavsaaheb delves into the conflict between tribals and tigers, seen through the eyes of both civilians and officials, all fighting a system that destroys the environment. And at the core of the film is a revenge story where a quest for justice uncovers a much darker truth. Now, this compels us to reflect on a very fragile relationship between humanity and nature. And this is a stark reflection of all the struggles we are facing today. And we are honored to have with us the National Award-winning director. And we are looking forward to hearing it from him, all the experience that went behind this compelling and a very thought-provoking film. I'd come to the synopsis of Srikanth. In a world with the odds stacked against him every step of the way, Srikanth defies norms, blazing a trail straight from rural India to becoming the first virtually impaired student at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And as he builds Bolin Industries, his success brings challenges, each of which he conquers not only to chase his personal dreams, but also to safeguard a shared future for the ones just like him. A biopic that is based on the life of Srikanth Bolaji. It is the tale of an entrepreneur's triumph and sacrifice, both of which he welcomed with open arms and a smile. Joining us with today is the director Tushar and the producer Nidhi ma'am for the film Srikanth. I'd like to invite the delegates on the dais to please have their opening remarks on the film. Nikhil sir, can we start from you?
According to the synopsis and what you saw, it's a environmental thriller speaking about the man-animal conflict in the forests of central India. But instead of going like a more docudrama approach, we wanted to do like a more accessible approach so that the issue can be highlighted to maximum number of people. So we went with a thriller narrative, and the film opened today, this morning. We had our world premiere, and the response was very good. So I'm just relieved. Basically, I just delivered the film like 15 days before coming here. So right now I'm just feeling pretty much nothing. So, thank you.
Hi, so Srikanth is basically, I think it's a man's struggle to just be seen as equal and normal and live his most authentic life, fighting the limitations of the labels that society puts on you. And I think that's a very universal emotion. And coming to the man, Srikanth himself, what he represents is this undying spirit. And I think in a time where we all were coming out of COVID, it was very important to give a story of inspiration and hope. And there was no better candidate than Srikanth and his life for us to get that faith back. And I think that's what appealed to Tushar as well about it. Why don't you want to give any opening remarks?
I'm just happy to come here. This is my second time. I've made two films. My first film when I made Sandhya, it was the opening film. And now again, I'm honored that my second film that I've made, I'm back. If he has again put me in the panorama this. And I'm so happy that a film like Srikanth is today appreciated, because that's what I wanted. In COVID, a lot of people had given up hopes. I mean, a lot of us had thought that, this is what we are finished. But a man who's blind could do so much. I thought that if we put this story out, it just not inspires people with disabilities, but also normal people to stand up and start working again. So that was my aim to make this film. That's it.
So Nikhil sir, coming to your film, jungle is precisely the character that is being depicted in the film. So how, what all went behind depicting this jungle in a very intriguing way that it, it grabs the audience attention, that it becomes an integral part of the story?
So I think we shot in an actual forest. We shot in the Tadoba Tiger Reserve that's near Chandrapur in Vidarbha. So the location itself gave all the authenticity that was needed. It was, of course, very demanding to shoot in that place because there's around 250 tigers in Tadoba, in that whole region, and out of that only 80 tigers are in the actual forest reserve. So the rest of them are scattered around at the borders of villages. So it's a very dangerous terrain to shoot with a crew of 200 people. So the location, while lending authenticity, was also the toughest factor of this shoot. And of course, for me, the biggest challenge was that the tiger, according to the script, we could show it only in one scene, but we had to constantly create the feeling of a tiger being around somewhere, lurking somewhere. So that was a challenge in terms of creating that feeling of a tiger being around through sound and other visual elements. So that was a very critical kind of aspect of this film.
Right, sir. Regarding Srikanth, at 55th IFFI, under the theme Sabka Manoranjan, we have made the cinematic experience very inclusive, so that everybody enjoys the cinematic experience. And of course, the film is also based on accessibility issues. What's your take, Tushar sir, on that?
Actually, see, we made this film obviously for people with disabilities. Entire thing was that we didn't want to see them as bicharas. We wanted to see them as equal. And when you say inclusivity, Srikanth is one of the first films that we had the entire. In fact, we had that Mr. Heath from T Series. He's here over here. I would tell him, congratulate him, because he made it possible. He pushed us to make it. I don't know. He can tell you what we did. Can you tell them?
The movie was in the audio description format, as well as it was further developed in the sign language.
So it was the first film that happened that we did that. In fact, the government supported us and paid for it also, because they saw it in Delhi and they made it happen. So Heath is much better to answer that.
So we had the film in the audio description format, which was powered by Excel Cinema. And later on, we had developed it in the sign language as well, with the help of Uniki Foundation. So this were the two platforms where the movie is readily available. So yeah, thank you.
And also, Heath, the signal that you came up with to install, there was actually a signal that we've installed for the visually impaired outside this school in a town in Bombay. And it was the first of its kind in India. And it was just an effort so that we make the country more accessible infrastructurally for any disabled people. So that was just a step, and I hope that those things can be followed down further by the government.
Right. I now open the floor for questions.
प्रवीण, निखिल जी, आपने जो रिसर्च किया, रिसर्च करने के बाद आपने जो दिखाया कि जो टाइगर आता है और पब्लिक को मारता है, लेकिन जो मशीन से मारता है, तो ऐसे जो माइंस वाले जो लोग हैं, उन्होंने किया है क्या? आपके रिसर्च में ऐसा आया है क्या? एक
तो ऐसे स्पॉइलर मत दो आप यार. मतलब अभी it's the suspense of the film that you are leaking, so I would request you to not do that. And there are incidents, there are multiple true incidents that have inspired to make the film. मतलब आपके सवाल का जवाब देने के लिए बहुत सारी सच घटनाओं पर फिल्म उससे इंस्पायर हुई है, बट आधारित ऐसी कोई एक घटना पे नहीं है. तो ऐसी कुछ चीज़ें अलग अलग तरीके की जो फिल्म में दिखाई गई है वो हुई है in different parts of Vidarbha. But yeah, I would request you to not say this, what you just said. Thank you.
My question is, hello? My question is to the producer of Srikanth. How difficult it was to, get a distributor for this type of film? Because basically, this type of films, distributors are hesitant to take.
You know what? I think we had the right partners with T Series. They are the best at what they do. They have great relationships in place, and they actually had. We had deep discussions because there were two distributors who were interested, and I think we went with Bhushanji's gut on this. We didn't struggle at all, like I said, because T Series was behind us, and Bhushanji believed in this a lot. And I think उस कनेक्शन पे के बेसिस पे हमें डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स भी बहुत इजीली मिल गए थे क्योंकि भूषण जी का ऑलरेडी गुडविल है. वी आर स्टिल न्यू इन द सिस्टम, सो हमारे लिए बिल्कुल स्ट्रगल नहीं थी.
श्रीकांत के बारे में what inspired you to make the film on that
on
you're a
Srikanth?
physically challenged person?
तो सर मैं जब श्रीकांत को मिला ना, तो जैसा ये पिक्चर है वैसा ही है. वो आदमी आज भी विदाउट स्टिक चलता है, इतना कॉन्फिडेंस है. क्या मैं आपको एक घटना सुनाता हूँ. मतलब जब मैं पिक्चर बनाने चाहता रहा था तो मुझे मेरे राइटर्स को मिलना था श्रीकांत को. मैं तो मिल चुका था 3-4 टाइम, पर राइटर्स को मिलना था ताकि उनसे बात करे और रिसर्च, बिकॉज इट वाज उनकी लाइफ पे पिक्चर है. तो हमने उसको, मुंबई में एक होटल है सन एंड सैंड, और वो बीच के बाजू में है, एंड ही इज कम्प्लीटली विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड. और जब श्रीकांत आया और मेरे राइटर्स रूम में बैठे थे, तो इट वाज अराउंड 5:30, और श्रीकांत सीधा विंडो की तरफ गया और बोला, द बीच लुक्स रियली ब्यूटीफुल ड्यूरिंग द सनसेट. एंड एवरीवन थॉट, एंड दे रियली आस्क्ड मी, इज ही रियली ब्लाइंड? मतलब ऐसा आदमी को मिलके तो देयर वाज नो, मतलब और कुछ चांस ही नहीं था कि ये स्टोरी नहीं बना. बिकॉज मेरे लिए तो ये इतना बड़ा हीरो है, उसकी लाइफ इतनी बड़ी थी, तो सब सामने था. तो इट वाज वेरी क्लियर दैट बनाना ही बनाना है.
Hi. My question is to Nikhil. You used the term environmental thriller for Raavsaaheb, and the concept of man-animal conflict lies at the crux of the film. And you said it's been shot at Tadoba. So could you maybe throw some light on the conversations or the kind of research it entailed? Because I'm sure that the population indigenous to Tadoba, the people living there, would have a very strong opinion, or they might have shared the struggles that they face in relation to this issue in their day-to-day lives.
No, so we were basically researching for almost 2 years because the issue is very, very serious. There are almost, I don't want to give a wrong number, but approximately around 100 to 150 people getting killed by tigers or leopards every year, only in this particular region. So that's an alarming number. And that kind of prompted us to kind of start researching, okay, what is exactly happening. And we realized that it's not just one area of problem there. We had to look at it from all sides. We had to also look at it from the coal mine side, from the forest department side, from the police side, from the NGOs that are operational there. And then more and more as we spoke to these people, we realized that everybody is right in their own place. Like the mines have to function for us to have all this electricity. So basically then we approached like the narrative choice of, say, a traffic or an Amores Perros, where we approach one incident from multiple vantage points, so that we can cover that in the most objective way possible. Because one thing we wanted to do was not take any sides. We didn't want to go saying these people are good, these people are bad. And because that was the only way in which we could kind of make a realistic, version of the story. Yeah. Thank you.
What was the message of the film?
Message of the film. I think message of the film is we should all coexist. We should find a balance in terms of how do we, use these resources from the forest. And at the same time, we should also be, in a way, restoring some of that, what we are taking. There needs to be a more give and take kind of a relationship between man and nature. It's actually not really just man-animal conflict, but it's also the conflict between like human need and human greed. How much do you need? How much do you want? It's a complex question. All I want the film to do, we have not provided any answer in the film, but I think we've tried to raise the question. Yeah.
Yes, my question to the producers of Srikanth. So we've talked about the let's say the persons with disabilities or specially abled people, of course, that's the central the crux of the movie again, and we've discussed questions pertaining to that here. But I think another aspect that is not that we've not delved into is the teacher-student equation that forms a very important facet of this movie. So, and this is again not a topic that is explored very extensively in a lot of our films. So, what would be your take on that?
With Devika was a very intentional character. I think we wanted to touch upon what you said because Devika is not a real person in his life. Devika is based on a lot of people who've helped shape him, who've come in different points in his life.
A lot of teachers during his life.
A lot of people who've taught him at different stages of life, not necessarily a teacher in the school, but life lessons as well. So it's a nod to all the teachers in life. And yes, a good teacher can, me personally, I think I was very lucky to have a great teacher in school who really gave me direction in life and channel in life. And I think that a teacher can make or break you. And that's, I think, a nod that we've tried to do in our film, is give a nod to all the teachers out there who do given so much time and effort to shape minds.
हॅलो, आता पिक्चरला रावसाहेबच नाव का द्यायचं? कारण काय पाठीमागं?
रावसाहेबच नाव का द्यायचं?
कारण काय त्याचं?
आवडलं आम्हाला नाव रावसाहेब. म्हणजे आय थिंक रावसाहेब इज द नेम ऑफ द टायगर. वाघाचं नाव रावसाहेब आहे. प्रत्येक वाघाला एक ऑफिशियल नेम असतो. ऑफिशियल नेम इज T1, T2, T3 वगैरे वगैरे. अँड ॲट द सेम टाइम जर तुम्ही सफारीला कधी गेला असाल तर तुम्हाला काही वाघ दिसतात आणि त्यांची नावं ठेवलेली असतात जी टुरिस्ट ठेवतात जनरली होऊन. सो रावसाहेब इज असं दिलेलं नाव आहे आणि नावामध्ये वजन आहे. आय थिंक इट्स अ गुड टायटल. बारिंग दॅट देर इज नो रिअल लॉजिक. इट जस्ट साऊंडेड गुड. ऐकायला बरं वाटलं रावसाहेब म्हणून रावसाहेब.
आर्टिस्ट उभे आहे आणि त्यांच्या समोरून तो रावसाहेब येतो आणि तो निघून जातो, त्यांना काहीच करत नाही तो.
अहो सर, तुम्ही सगळी फिल्म स्पॉइल करताय. असं नका करू. रिक्वेस्ट करतोय तुम्हाला, असं नका करू.
ओके ओके ओके.
लाईव्ह स्ट्रीम होतं, असं नका करू.
ठीक ठीक ठीक.
Done.
Any more questions? We'll take one question.
Done.
So I'd like to ask the director and the producer of the film, Srikanth. Srikanth sir's story is so inspiring. What is the most surprising or the most exciting thing that you learned about him while researching about this project?
I always say that, and he also likes it when I say it. It's not like he gets offended. His name is Srikanth Bhola, पर वो बिल्कुल भोला नहीं है. बहुत ही चालाक आदमी है. He's just like you and me, and he's even worse than you and me as a matlab, he's very ruthless as a business smart. He's a street smart person. Or that was what it just and if you see the movie now, it's out, so it's not a spoiler. So it's if you see that in the second half he goes bad, and that's a normal human tendency that when we become something big in life, usually tend to go bad. So what if you're a person with disabilities? We didn't care. It just made it more real that he goes on the wrong path and then he realizes he goes on the wrong path and comes back. And when I asked Srikanth, because most of the people, when you make a biopic on them, they don't want to show their bad part. They always want to show a rosy picture. But Srikanth, being Srikanth, said that I'm even worse. You can show it even worse if you want. So that's what is great about a person who's not scared about what he is and he's proud of what he's doing. So that's why it was just there.
I think, for me, he shattered a lot of my preconceived notions that I have about a visually challenged person. No matter how woke you think you are, you still have these very deeply ingrained ideas about how this person should or would be behaving. And when I met Srikanth, he shattered that box completely and made me see a very different side to him and I thought I was very accepting, but he unlocked a new level of acceptance in me, and I'll always be grateful to him for that.
So like I said, when I met him first, he walks without a stick. So actually I went to give him help and just make him, I thought that I'm being a good guy and I'll help him. So I've held his hand, he just brushed my hand off. And he said, can't you see? I said, of course I can see. So he's saying, why are you holding me? So he's that kind of a person. So it's crazy.
Oh, and he also told Tushar that, he told me that I could have done better than Tushar. So he was already in my good books.
Madam, I have a question for you. Was Rajkumar Rao was your first choice for the movie?
First and last.
And what was your experience working with him? Because he's a very versatile actor.
I think Raj has spoiled us, sir. Raj के साथ काम करने के बाद बड़ा मुश्किल लगता है कि अगली फिल्म में किसके साथ काम करेंगे, because it was like working with a family member. He brings so much passion, he brings so much skill, so much talent, so much love, so much energy. मैं उसका कोई डाउनसाइड है ही नहीं सर. मैं बोल ही नहीं सकती कि उस आदमी में कुछ कमी है.
मतलब अगर मेरा एज अ डायरेक्टर चांस मिले, अगर वो मेरे साथ काम करना चाहे, तो एवरी फिल्म दैट आई मेक आई वुड लव टू वर्क विद हिम.
एक क्वेश्चन है. हेलो.
हाँ जी.
श्रीकांत के बारे में है. वो लास्ट में आपने ट्रेलर में दिखाया
जी
कि वो भिखारी को पैसा दे रहा है और उसने क्या बोला, उसको हम रिजेक्ट किया और उसने छीन लिया पैसा और बोला कि मुझे काम दे दो
जी.
बाय दिस एक्शन व्हाट मैसेज आर यू गोइंग टू कन्वे टू द पब्लिक
बाय द वे
व्यूअर्स?
नो, व्यूअर्स का नहीं, ये फैक्ट है सर. उसकी कंपनी इज कॉल्ड बोलांट. आपने पिक्चर नहीं देखा ना? आपने देखा चाचा? ये प्रॉब्लम ये होता है. देख लो, स्पॉइलर नहीं है, देख लो. तो आप अगर पिक्चर देखेंगे तो उसने एक कंपनी चालू किया बोलांट, जिसमें 90% ऑफ द पीपल दैट ही हैज हायर्ड इज पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटीज. उसकी कंपनी में सब पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटीज काम करते. तो उसका यही था कि मुझे लोगों को भी, आप एक पर्सन ऑफ डिसेबिलिटीज को भिखारी समझते, हमको ऑपरचुनिटी काम देंगे तो वो काम करेंगे, आप काम दो. तो उसने अपना खुद कंपनी बनाया और उसने सब पर्सनल डिसेबिलिटीज को जॉब दिया. तो जिस आदमी को वो भीख दे रहा था वो बोलता है मत दो उसको, उस आदमी को जॉब देता है वो पिक्चर में भी और रियल लाइफ में भी.
Hello, sir. Nikhil Mahajan. I watched your film Raavsaaheb in the morning.
Thank you.
I must appreciate the grand effort that your team has put in.
Thank you.
I have one question. In this film, you have shown a lot of bloodshed and also physical intimacy. So what is your audience? What is the certification that this film has got?
Say yet to be certified. But the intimate scenes will not be shown in the theatrical version of the film, but the violence will be there. So let's see. We are hoping for UA, but पता नहीं क्या होगा.